This lesson is on solving multi-step inequalities. This same process is going to apply that we use for solving multi-step equations, except for now we have inequality signs instead of equal signs. So if this is my first question, 3 is less than negative 5x plus 2x, I'm looking for the same things. Do I need to combine like terms? I do. Negative 5x and 2x is negative 3x. So negative 5 plus 2, or 2 minus 5. Same process is going on here. I'm trying to get x to be all by itself. So I combined my like terms, and now I have to get rid of this negative 3. It's being multiplied, so I'm going to divide. But I remember from my last lesson on inequalities that when I divide or multiply by a negative, I need to flip the sign. So I'm left with a negative 1 is greater than x. But don't forget that you can write it with x on the left side as long as you show that x is less than negative 1. So number 2, let's try another example. 9 is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 2 minus 3. Again, you're looking for like terms. I'm still solving for x eventually, but I need to look. I have a positive 2 and a negative 3. I'm going to bring everything else down. And 2 minus 3 is a negative 1. And now I have a two-step inequality. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. I have 10 now is greater than or equal to negative 2x. And I'm going to divide by a negative. Oh, and if I just say that out loud, before I forget, I need to flip the sign. I'm left with negative 5 is less than or equal to x, or x is greater than or equal to negative 5. They are saying the same thing. Number 3, negative 138 is greater than or equal to negative 6 times the parentheses 6x minus 7. Still going to solve for x, but first I'm going to have to distribute. So negative 138 comes down, as does my sign. Negative 6 times 6 is negative 36x. And negative times a negative is a positive 42. But to solve, I'm getting rid of this 42 first by subtracting. And I'm left with negative 180 is greater than or equal to negative 36x. And your last step will always be here to get that last thing away. And in this case, we're dividing by negative 36. Since I said it, I'm going to flip it, dividing by a negative or multiplying by a negative. And negative 36 goes into negative 180 5 whole times. So rewrite it with x on the left. X is greater than or equal to 5. And the last one that we'll do, negative 3 minus 6 times 4x plus 6 is greater than negative 111. So I'm looking and I am distributing. I have to first distribute. It's a negative 6. You cannot subtract here. The first thing you have to do is distribute. So bring that negative 3 down, and negative times 4, this is a negative, look at me, 24x, and a negative 36, and it's greater than negative 111. Checking for like terms, I see a negative 3 and a negative 36. Add those two together, negative 39 minus 24x is greater than negative 111. I'm going to add 39 to both sides. And I'm left with negative 24x is greater than negative 72. And my last step is to divide by a negative 24. If I divide by a negative, I have to flip the sign. So I'm left with x is less than 3, or 3 is greater than x. And that will be all we'll do for multi-step inequalities.